and these weights. So the next most minimum weighted edge is going to be this A to D. Now picking this particular edge would result in a cycle that we do not want, because that is just adding a redundancy and we don't care about this thing, right? So we would overlook this thing and we would then look at another edge in that order. The next one could be 4. So we can pick this particular edge and that connects it, and that is fine. As long as it's not connecting a particular vertex that creates a cycle, we are done. And so we are always going to pick these edges in terms of their weights. So sort them out in their ascending order, pick those edges as they come, and essentially create this tree and make sure that there are no cycles in this tree. That is the essence of the first algorithm that we are going to look at. So
can you split off from one element? So like, can your tree have like A to C, then C to F? Or is it just a straight line path?
I guess what you mean is A to C and E to F?
Well, I was trying to like say, like, can you?
I think I understand your question.
You have two paths exiting a node.
Yes. We are not talking about binary trees anymore. So we can have this, we can also have this, we can also potentially have this.
That is okay. Yeah, that's what I wanted to clarify.
Yes. We are not talking about.
And then you could finally have E to F, and then you'd have a complete tree.
Exactly.
Connecting all nodes. Okay.
Yes. So we would have a tree. Again, we are going with the most general definition of a tree, that a tree is a graph that does not have cycles, period. That's it.
Okay. So you're basically, everything kind of ends in its own extremity.
Extremity, yes. Well, not every edge. So every edge is not going to end at an extremity potentially, because C can go to F, then F can go to D, and these things can happen. But it is, so in this case, F is not an extremity, but again, no cycles.
Okay. Yep.
Okay. So how would the answer to that question look like? So the question about this particular graph, for finding the most minimum solution. Okay, I'm going to come to that in the very next slide. Okay. So, yes, so this is the answer to that particular question. I'll come to that, but give me one sec. So the first observation that we made was removing a cycle edge is necessary because it adds to the cost and it does not do anything to connect the vertices. Secondly, removing a cycle edge will never disconnect a graph, because we know that if it's a cycle edge, that means that there are more than one unique paths available for these vertices. Removing a particular cycle edge does not disconnect my graph, right? Okay. So our solution has to be a connected set of vertices, and it has to be an acyclic set of vertices or edges. So these sort of undirected graphs are what we call trees now. And for example, for this particular thing, we picked this particular edge here. So that was from A to C. Then we picked from C to D. Then we picked out 4. We did not pick the edge with the value 3 because that created a cycle. And then out of these 3 edges that are remaining, I would pick this particular edge, still no cycle. And out of these 2 edges, I would pick this particular vertex. And that is what we end up as our minimum spanning tree for this particular graph. Again, this does not technically have any root node, right? This might look like C has the most outgoing nodes and that is a root node, but this is the most general term of a tree. It's just a graph without any cycles, no other application.
I might be getting a little ahead of myself, but is this, is that tree the minimum distance from every node to every other node in the tree?
Nope. We are not guaranteeing anything like that. That was the guarantee being made by Bellman-Ford and Dijkstra and things like that. We are not making those guarantees. We are saying that combined weight of all of these edges is going to be the minimum most summation that allows me to connect all vertices.
Okay, because like right there from C to B would have been 4, whereas you're going C to D to 4, which is 6.
Yes, exactly.
So you're not optimal there, but holistically over the whole graph, you are a minimum. Okay.
Exactly, because going back to that computer problem, right? You're going to have some maintenance cost per edge, and essentially you want your entire network to have the minimum most maintenance cost possible. I don't care how fast the connectivity is between two particular vertices. What I care is I need to pay as less a cost as possible to maintain this network, this entire network. So that is the basic point. So you can imagine this thing as any connectivity issue. So for example, deciding whether at which location should I put my cell phone broadcast towers or things like that. So which locations do I put my cell phone broadcast towers would depend upon my maintenance cost, how windy is that area, blah and blah and blah. As far as I am able to get all the users connected with the most minimum cost, I am done and I don't care. Right. Okay. Give me one sec. So that is the basic point of minimum spanning trees, and that is what Kruskal's or I'm getting so that would be the solution to your this, but that would be that this particular graph has this particular minimum spanning tree. Does that make sense? Why this is the solution to this particular graph as a minimum spanning tree? Perfect. Any other questions about minimum spanning trees and what they mean? Okay. So no, Taha, we are not trying to find out the shortest path from all vertices to all other vertices. We are just saying that the total cost of this connectivity where I can connect all vertices, but with as few a cost, as less a cost as possible. Right. So essentially, I'm going to pick edges such that I can never be redundant in picking a same vertex twice, because what is the point in that? That vertex is already connected. And secondly, I would also want to pick edges that have the least cost possible, because that is the greedy approach to solving this thing, where we are saying edges with the lower cost get higher preference for me to look at. But additionally, that should be acyclic as well. So the reason we did not pick 3, this particular A to D edge, was although this had a smaller cost, but that had no point because I have already covered A and D. Right. Okay. So for this particular graph, this particular minimum spanning tree has a total cost of 16, right? That is 1 plus 2, that's 3, 3 plus 4, 7, 7 plus 4, 11, 11 plus 5, 16. So that is the total cost that I got for this particular minimum spanning tree. This is the cost that I'm trying to minimize here. If so, D to B can be replaced by C to D and still have the minimum weight. Exactly. You have also found a very interesting point here that plays into the cut property and something that we'll discuss soon. But essentially, yes. So if we had the vertex from D to B and instead of having a C to D vertex, so let's say that we did not have this vertex here. I'm going to delete that somehow. It doesn't allow me to do colors, but essentially this, if we had this vertex here and just remove this particular vertex here, assume that I'm deleting that edge, that is also the most minimum value. Wait, no, you did not mean that. You meant C to B. So assuming that there is a edge here, I mean in the minimum spanning tree, and we remove this particular vertex that is B to D. In that scenario, again, we are replacing one particular vertex, one particular edge of weight 4 that disconnects B, but we are adding another particular edge that connects B with the same weight. That is fine. That is also a solution to your minimum spanning tree. Right, Vamsi? Okay. So that is another thing about greedy algorithms, that oftentimes, since your input is going to have randomized values, oftentimes there can be more than one unique solution to your particular problem. But that is a whole different thing. But even if you have multiple possible solutions, since you're always going to go the greedy route, essentially you're going to have the best possible answer in the smallest amount of time, potentially. Okay, so let's define the MST problem in more technical terms. So we have an input that is an undirected graph that can have edge weights. Let's call them WE for weights for a particular edge E, where edge is an edge that belongs to the set of edges, capital E. The output of this algorithm should be a tree that is all the vertices and a set of edges from that particular graph. So this particular tree should contain all the vertices that belong to this graph, but would have a subset of those edges, E prime, that minimizes the total weight, that is the summation of all the weights for all edges inside E prime. So that is what we are trying to find out. So in a sense, we have two particular algorithms that, that can be used to solve this particular problem. The first one that we are going to discuss today is the Kruskal's algorithm. Next one is the Prim's algorithm. Okay. So essentially, the process that we discussed as to select edges that have the minimum cost and select edges such that they don't produce a cycle is the very basis of the logic behind Kruskal's algorithm, right? So Kruskal's is a minimum spanning tree algorithm that starts with an empty graph and keeps on selecting edges from this set of E, and it maintains that rule that it will always pick the edge that has the least cost, but it would also check that it does not produce a cycle. Now this particular thing, so picking an edge with the least cost is time complexity wise, if you think about it, it is just n log n, right? So v log v, v log e, some sorting algorithm applied to all the set of edges where we order the edges in some order, in some ascending order. The fact or the main issue comes in case of Kruskal's algorithm is it also needs to check that this set of edges do not produce a cycle. And that is the main driver of increasing the time complexity of Kruskal's algorithm. It is not that large, but that is the main point, and that is the main complicated part of this algorithm. Okay, so basically it constructs the tree edge by edge every time, and it takes care to avoid cycles. It basically picks the edge that has the cheapest, that is the cheapest at any given moment, and that is why this is a greedy algorithm. But so it is a greedy because it picks the cheapest one that does not produce a cycle.
So just to clarify, the input to this is the array of edges that are ordered by weight?
Yes.
Okay, so you're not starting from some starting node. You just have like a list of edges.
Yes, yes, and okay, that also plays into an interesting point. Okay, so imagine that this set of weights in this graph do not exist, and I'm going to be like Kruskal and pick edges in some order, right? Imagine that there is some order behind it, and I'm always going to pick the edge that has the lowest cost, but also does not create a cycle. So if we have ordered this set of edges with respect to some weight, let's say that this particular edge was the edge that had the minimum cost. Assume that, don't go with the current value here, just assume that this is hypothetically, this was the edge that had the minimum cost. The next edge could have been this particular edge here that had the next lowest cost, and it does not create a cycle. The next edge that Kruskal can pick, since all the edges are just sorted and Kruskal picks the least cost edge, the next edge that it can pick can also be this particular edge, right? So if it picks this particular edge, in that scenario, this is now a disjoint set of trees, right? For all our previous algorithms, we did not pick these edges in sort of randomly. So this is